In this video, let's continue on with our discussion on parsing a device's configuration. And in particular, let's focus on parsing the username section of a configuration. Now, the username section is going to illustrate certain interesting ideas about how we parse patterns that have multiple forms in them. So you can see here we have three different forms of this command. So we have a form that has a role defined. We have a form that has a privilege defined but no role. So you notice here there's no role statement. And we also have a form that does not have any role nor any privilege definition. You can see that here. All it has is the username and the secret. So we have three different forms defined here. And the order is not important in any way. Like, we could have it where this admin1 was first. We could have it where admin was first. We could have it where EAPI is first. So there's not really any order here to say that this line admin1 should come after admin or EAPI should come after admin and admin1. So the order is not relevant at all here. The only thing that matters is the form that we're using. Okay, so now let's look at our template. And we'll go ahead and see what we have for a template. Now notice I've already defined the first form. So my first form here is the one that has, in this case, I want to make this be the one with the role. So I'm going to go back and look here and see we have the statement privilege 15 and then role. I'm going to go ahead and re-add in my role line. So we'll say, and we'll just make a variable called role, and then we'll get rid of that line. I'll actually make that be a comment so we can reuse it here in a second. And let's go ahead and run this and look at our output. And you can see I have matched on this first one. I have matched on the admin. I've parsed all those variables. Now we want to get the second one. So we want to get this admin1. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my template. This is the one that has a username defined, a privilege defined, but no role. So here you can see the difference between the two is that in this case I have a role defined, in this case I don't. Besides that, they parse all the variations of that. Now for this, I need to use this thing that restarts the relevant group section in TextFSM. And in order to accomplish this, I'm going to use the start modifier. So the start modifier here is basically going to let me rerun or restart this group processing. So by doing it as follows, I'm basically saying that either one of these forms is the start of this. So I'm just going to treat these as independent matches of this username form. So if I match it at this form, it's the start of this user section. If I match it at this form, it's the start of the user section. And since there's nothing else in here besides these two different forms, you know, they're sort of independent events. It'll match this form and it'll match this form. So we're restarting this group processing to match each of those lines independently. Now let's go rerun our parsing, and we see we now have three matches. We have admin, admin1, and pi class, because also the pi class one down here is the exact same form as admin1. So it matched this one, it matched this one, and matched this one. We haven't matched the EAPI line, so we'll go ahead and copy that and create this third form of the output. Okay, so third form of this template that we need to create is going to be this form. So it's going to be username. Once again, we need to have a start because it's independent of the other ones. So we're going to restart our state machine. It has no privilege level, but it does have this secret section. And let me get the white space that got distorted on my copy paste there. So that'll be our third form of that group section. Okay, so we'll go ahead and output that. We can see we have now parsed all four of the variables. The key item there is using that start for the things that where we're not really concerned about the order, where one thing is supposed to come after another thing inside a group section. We're only caring about these are three different forms of this particular pattern, and each of them can sort of match independently. each of them could quote unquote start this section. So now we're parsing the username section properly.